the guy on the screen right now has probably over 20 plus years, is that safe to say, of experience in the music industry, not just in the country that is in right now, which is Grenada, right? That's correct, right?
Yeah, in Grenada now.
Right, not just in Grenada, but he's played in events all over the Caribbean, from Trinidad to Grenada to St. Vincent, probably every island that you can land a plane in the Caribbean. Even if you can't land a plane, even if you cannot land a plane,
but I like them places where you can't land plane properly. Yeah.
Has been to almost every island possible in the Caribbean, and he has also visited countries internationally, representing soca music, but just representing music in total. In addition to which, he has influences in some of the biggest radio stations in the region. That is something we're going to get into a conversation about. And he has the consistency of doing the shellings mix probably every week, which I thought we were at 138, but I realized today we are at 139 of the
I had to do one today, boy. I had to knock one out today.
139 of the shellings mix. And I must say that he is also involved in some of the biggest soca productions that you've seen and that you've heard for the last couple of years. So, ladies and gentlemen, I like to call everybody by the government name, Mr. KRL Hector, a.k.a.
Oh, boy.
A.k.a. Scratch Master.
What's going on, man?
I am good. I'm good. I'm really good. Well, every day is a different day. You know, some days is a struggle. Some days are better than others. So, you know, we just take it one day at a time. You know, so I really thank you for your time as well tonight. You would not believe that even though we had Puffy, we had Private Ryan, for the last 2 hours, I had so many questions that came up in my direct messages because everybody want to find out something from Scratch Master tonight. So all this here is notes from what I was taken from people who have been sending questions. Yeah. So we're going to try to keep it tight and concise.
All right, there you go.
As per usual, I try to keep it
Raise
on
the shot,
time.
pick up yourself.
Right? I try to keep it on time. I know he was beating Puffy in FIFA earlier, so...
Yeah, Puffy got a beating. I don't know if he's in this live, but I'm just putting it out there. You know, he got handled properly.
Yeah. And in case you didn't notice, I wear my Lakers t-shirt because I know he's not a Lakers fan. You know, he's a Golden State Warriors
This conversation will go south very fast. All right?
I know coming down to the end of that season, or I should say, in the middle of the season right now, they just stopped. I know it was way behind. Them Golden State fellas was way behind, but...
we all know the reason for that.
I just said it. I mean, you know, it was LeBron's year. This was LeBron's year. That's what I mean.
No, I respect LeBron. I don't have any issue with LeBron. LeBron is LeBron. I mean, you know, but Golden State is my team. That's all.
All right. We can respect that. So, first of all, just basically, what is the situation like right now in Grenada with COVID-19, and how are you personally dealing with it?
Well, in Grenada right now, I think we at 11 or 12 cases, but they've been pretty proactive. I mean, it's been challenging for everybody, the sense that, I mean, right now, we started off with a curfew that was from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m.
Wow.
And then when the government realized that some people weren't taking it seriously, they amped it up and instituted a 24-hour curfew.
Right.
24-hour. So,
and this 24-hour curfew is lasting till when?
Well, it started last week, Monday. It was it was for a week in the first instance. And they, Monday, which was a couple days ago, they extended it for 2 more weeks. So this curfew is up until 7 a.m. on the 20th of April.
Shoot. Damn.
But they have to do what they have to do. I'd rather take the curfew now and, you know, be able to move about freely afterwards than the other way around.
Yeah. But do you think that Grenadians were taking the call to action seriously before? I'm not talking about the government, but talking about the citizens of Grenada. In your opinion, were they taking the call to action seriously from before?
Most were.
Right.
But as with every country, you ain't gonna get a whole population doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So they had to do it, you know. I understand, you know. I mean, I don't like it, but it is necessary.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think, as I've been telling everybody, the conversation I had with Quest, with Puffy, everybody has said it, that I don't think anybody really understood the all-encompassing nature of this entire situation, and we really didn't understand how grand it would have been in I would say short term, because we don't even know what's going to happen in the long term. But we have been, I think the world in total has been caught off guard by this. But at the same point in time, everybody has to do what they have to do right now, and it's a matter of being safe over being outside. That's just the way I look at it, you know?
Yeah, that's how it is, you know. We will get over it. It's not forever, but I know it is, you know, and I feel it for DJs that travel, that's all they do.
Yeah.
You know, and they have this to deal with and can't go anywhere. Literally, when you call artists, anybody in entertainment, what's going on? Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
You know,
that is definitely something I have as a question I was asking, which I will bring up at some point in time later, because as I tell you, I'm trying to facilitate everybody that had a question tonight. So I will say that Scratch Master has managed to break my internet feed right now when it comes down to questions, because everybody wants to find out something I have to do with DJs. And you realizing how many DJs popping up. We have Levi Chin come up here.
I've seen some of our brethren. Big up Rhythm Master.
Rhythm Master from Antigua come up here. You know, Vibes Kids. So we have a lot of people. I want to find out something first of all, just for individuals who may not know. Now, I don't believe that there's anybody that might not understand the depth of the reach of Scratch Master, right? But just for everybody that right now is tuned in, how many radio stations have Scratch Master worked on in the Caribbean? In what countries? How many countries are we looking at here?
If it is accounting countries, it's Grenada,
right?
St. Vincent, right? Barbados.
Radio St. Vincent, Barbados.
If it is accounting stations, wow. I have to make a count on this one. Hold on.
Yeah. All right. So in Trinidad, have you had influences in any stations in Trinidad?
I never worked on radio in Trinidad, no.
Right. All right.
Even though I was born in Trinidad, I haven't worked, you know, in radio. I really learned to play music when I came to Grenada, and that was because of my parents when I was a teenager.
Right.
All right. With Simply Smooth and so on. You know, I learned, you know, and really started DJing here. I would say when I left Grenada to go to St. Vincent, then was when the radio station I worked at, the Hot 97, at the time was the sister station of WeFM in Trinidad.
Yes, correct.
So that's how I got to meet Chinese Laundry, Razor Shop, Def, BSR, Brian Regis, Tweez, all these guys.
Right.
And that's how the networking began. And when I got the opportunity to go to Barbados, you know, that was the first station that I would say I designed from the ground up, which is Slam 101.
Slam 101, right there.
Yeah. I mean, that's with King Bubba and Bubbles and the rest of the team there.
Right.
You know? Yeah. So.
And then from there, straight to Grenada now.
Okay, I came back to Grenada, yeah.
And so the station that is this the program director for that station, right? That's correct?
Yeah, I'm the program director. The station here in Grenada is Power 95.
Right. So was that station always the format that it had before, or did that switch when you came on board to become the program director?
Well, it started from scratch when I came here.
Right.
I came here for that reason. It wasn't on air. It was just like how when I moved to Barbados, Slam was, you know, in the beginning stages. Same thing when I came here. Right.
So out of these frequencies that you've worked for and had influence with, is there any one of these stations to you that you feel really passionate about, that you were glad that you were part of that station? And that is nothing taken away from any of the frequencies, because all of them are important in their own right. But I believe that everybody always has a passion project or a project that speaks to them differently from the others. So was there any of these stations that spoke to you differently, and why?
All of them spoke to me differently in a different way. You know, St. Vincent with Hot 97, I would say, you know, being able to work alongside with Chinese Laundry and so on, you know, having that little bit of Trinidad influence with the frequency, that was one of the main reasons I left Grenada to go St. Vincent in the first place.
Right.
And Vincy was a different vibe. St. Vincent, I could tell you, each one of these islands, you know, the culture is different.
Correct.
You know, the people are different. They have similarities, but they're different. And you could tell in the music. Look at Problem Child song.
Yeah.
You know, St. Vincent has an energy. And when Skinny says they don't party normal,
They
that
really
is
do.
not a joke.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Listen, let me tell you something. St. Vincent energy is different. You know what I'm telling you?
Yeah.
St. Vincent is not Vincy boy.
Yeah, yeah,
Nah,
yeah.
Vincy.
It's so funny.
Well, you know, because you've been in St. Vincent many times.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because of all the music that is released from St. Vincent annually. Even if people release what we consider groovy soca, however, I mean, the argument could be made that power soca basically runs St. Vincent, and that is indicative of the island itself. It's a particular type of energy. They don't slow down. They do a party normal and true. They really
Now,
don't.
for me, I would say Vincy #1 for energy. Right after that, I would say Grenada.
Right.
Because Grenada energy is right up there with St. Vincent.
Correct.
Grenada love the job. They love the culture. And I'll tell you something. It's amazing how what we call smaller islands, soca has been dominating and
Right.
has been an influence in Trinidad. I mean, look at Skinny and Marshall.
Correct.
You know, look at Problem Child and Patrice. Look at Problem Child and Charles Marshall.
Correct.
You know, I mean, the smaller island. Look at, you know, even Natty and Thunder and these guys here. Look at Skinny Banton this year. He had a great year.
Yeah.
You know, what I would say is that, I mean, we all know Trinidad is known as the Mecca of soca. But I'm glad to see that. I mean, I've lived in all these countries. I am from Trinidad, but you know, there seems to be a bit more unity and you know, embracing thing. And I'll say this: there's just a vibe about how the islands do soca that is different. You know, I mean, I saw Fionn Lyons say in an interview already. She was like, "Yo, let me tell these artists something here. If all they feel this pretty soca, go work in some of them small islands.
Correct.
Or they have another thing coming.
Correct.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things I really wanted to get into here tonight, because it's a conversation that came up with Puffy, it came up with Private Ryan, and that's the whole concept of being a radio DJ and what it takes to be a radio DJ. And I know we have a lot of young DJs that actually in tonight. So the first thing I want to ask you, what do you think is the biggest misconception that younger DJs have about being a radio DJ, especially when it comes to urban? I look at it as urban radio in the Caribbean, because Caribbean radio to me is quite different. It's quite unique. I don't know what's your take on that. But what do you think is one of the biggest misconceptions that a lot of younger DJs have when it comes down to radio and being a radio DJ?
That it is, and I could tell you this based on the demos that I've received, that it is about sound effects, it is about pulling up, and it is about Gaza and Gully. That is the biggest misconception. There's radio, and there's also the business of radio. Right? There's mainstream appeal, you know, and you know, and when you have to please corporate clients, it's a fine line you have to walk sometimes with, you know, and this is for stations that are more youth oriented, right? That probably cater for 15 to 35, 40 demographic or so, you know? So, you know, when I get demos, you know, many times there's a set of sound effects, there's a set of pull-ups and thing, and I just be like, I listen to the first couple songs and then think my biggest advice would be for DJs would be to you know, try to be as versatile as possible.
But you know, you raise a question, you raise a point which I don't want to cut you across, but before I forget it, because I know somebody had asked that to Puffy, I think it was last week Sunday when I had him on, in terms of doing a demo. So really and truly, do station managers and program directors, do you all even still listen to demos like that?
Of
and that
course.
was a legitimate question a guy asked me, and I know why he asked that question. Because Scratch, you and I know that there are some guys that have never dropped a demo to any station, but they've managed to get through, which is fine. I'm not ponging anybody like that. But
it's like some DJs and feds.
But exactly,
you don't see them playing anywhere except that fed that promoter having.
Right. So then you guys, do you still extensively listen to demos? Is it something that you make a point of doing, or is it just when you get something?
What I would say is anytime I get approached by someone, I would ask for a demo, because I understand how to listen to a demo. You know, I understand that a demo is not necessarily how you're going to be on air.
Right.
You might be nervous, you know. I remember when I just started in radio how I was. I also remember when Puffy sent in his demo.
Right.
That was interesting. When they told me about Puffy, I was at Slam, and they sent me his demo. I never heard about him.
Right.
You know. So they sent me it, and I listened to it, and I liked how he was playing the urban stuff. You know. So I'm listening to it, and he was talking in it too. You know. And then Mr. Man is to do so and call my name in the demo and say, Scratch, this is for you. So I'm like, all right. You call my name now. And he did a scratch the same way I did it. He brought in Busta Rhymes past the Cavossier from the beginning. With the don't this hit, but he did a don't this, the same thing that I did.
Yeah.
So when I heard that, I just laughed and said, all right, call him.
That was the edge.
You know, yeah, you know. But it's wise that DJs, you know, I mean, there are different types of DJs. You know, you have selectors, you have those that are more dancehall heavy, like your Tony Mataran and them kind of thing there, you know, and that's fine.
Right.
The main thing is understanding time and place.
Right.
And understand as well that a stage show is different from an intimate setting.
Look, you know, come up in your chat and say,
oh Lord, look the criminal.
You know,
look the criminal.
He reach. Yeah.
Yeah, Puffy, tell him how much licks you get, but go ahead.
Yeah. It's been my experience that a lot of people feel that when they get on radio, that is like the pinnacle of the career. And I was one of the fortunate people to be around enough guys to kind of teach me that that necessarily wasn't the case. Because I worked at 96.1 for about 7 years. And at some point in time, which was the same argument or the same point that Private Ryan was raising, that radio is a grind. And there are times when it can affect what you want to in terms of being an international DJ. And I think a lot of people still don't understand that part of it. So do you think that radio is considered to be like a grind? Because technically speaking, and it's just going back to the conversation I had with Ryan, he was saying that, you know, you're basically coming to work every day to play and sound differently, but at the same point in time, it's expected that there are certain hits that you should play, and you always have to motivate yourself in a particular way to do that, while still trying to be a traveling touring DJ. I'm not too sure what is your point of view about that.
All right, that is a thing. In the sense that I would say this, right? Each DJ has to know what they want. Right? Is either, you know, if you want to be a touring DJ, I mean, some radio stations would be flexible enough that they would let you fly when you want to fly. Right? But I will also say this. Don't underestimate the power of a radio station. All right? Radio is what has helped me, I would say, to remain relevant throughout the course of my career, right? For all these years, right? Also remember, and this is not to downplay any touring DJ, right? Because touring is a good thing. I mean, and it's plenty of things I could talk about with that touring thing. But anyway, the point I want to make here is this. Remember, when you're playing on a radio station, like for instance, say Trinidad, the population is over 1 million people, right? Depending on the radio station, you have tens of thousands of people listening to you when you are on air.
That's correct.
When you're in a dance, it's a couple hundred people.
That's also correct.
right? So you have just, if it is you get on a radio station, make the most of the platform, right? Because we're in an age now where I don't have to be in Trinidad to know what a Lord High playing on the radio station. I could tune in on the app. I could be anywhere and listen to a radio station right now.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, so don't underestimate the power of radio. Radio is still a very powerful tool. It's how you use it. It's like, you know, it's like having a fast car, right? You know, just because you have a Ferrari don't mean you're going to beat Lewis Hamilton in a race.
Correct.
You know, you have to put in the work. So the radio is the platform that would allow you to do that probably faster than a dance.
But let me be devil's advocate for a minute and bring the arguments for technology. I've been seeing, especially in Trinidad now, where some of the DJs are having zesting parties on Instagram, and these guys are pulling huge numbers every night, 5,000, 10,000 people. And the argument was made to me that if these guys have this platform now, is this now replacing the need for actual traditional radio? And I said to myself that I think everything has its time and place, but at the same point in time, radio is still important as a platform on a national level, especially from the corporate standpoint. What do you think is the importance of social media right now to DJing? And can that be said to be a replacement for radio?
Nothing could replace radio.
Right.
Let me get that clear. You can't go to the bank with a zesting party. Go to a bank with a zesting party. I just tried a zesting party. I had 5,000 people watching my boy. You can't do that.
Correct.
Right? You have to think bigger than that. You have, you know, don't get me wrong. Those things have their time and place. Perfect example. Tory Lanez does this quarantine thing that Mr. Man Puffy is be watching every minute. Right? You know? And, you know, my thing is, those things have the time, the place, and their audience.
Right.
Don't tie them up. You know, don't mix up the two. They have the time, the place, and the audience. There are people that would like it. There are people that would tune into it. I personally, I mean, it doesn't move me. You know, I don't learn anything from it. You know, and I think there's more to music than that. But again, there is an audience and there's a market for it, and I respect it.
Yeah. On the same note as social media, and I think you would also be able to attest to this, that again, going back to my earlier point, there are multiple DJs right now who have 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 followers. From a radio programmer point of view, how much does social media traction impact your decision making in actually giving a DJ a shot?
I can only speak for myself.
Right.
A little bit.
Right.
You could have 10,000 followers, 20,000 followers, 100,000 followers on your Instagram.
Right.
If you can't play music properly, I'm not interested.
True.
Right? My thing is, Instagram is controlled reality. Social media is controlled reality. From when you put up a picture, you know, you're fighting for the best pose, thing, that fraction of a second to make everything look perfect. It's like, you know, social media, this pressure of perfection. And I say, if it is you are good at expanding your brand on social media, that is great, but you need to be able to match that hype with your skill set.
With actual talent.
Actual talent matters. Trust me, talent matters. If it is you are a promoter, and I know some promoters are guilty of this, they will book a DJ based on their followers, because they'll say, boy, if I didn't, he probably go bring X amount of people in my dance. Yeah. But say the person can't play music properly, but he has followers. I mean, being popular and being a good DJ is two different things. Huh?
Yeah.
Right? It's two different things, you know? And if it is you are a promoter and you hired somebody based on you know, their numbers on their Instagram only, DJ come to the dance, he can't play music properly and everybody cussing you. It kills your brand as well.
Correct.
So, you know, yes, I like that, but I also like to make sure that you know, they know how to play music and play music. I'm very passionate about playing music.
That I know for sure.
I very passionate about it.
Yeah. On the note of passion, I want to get to questions because I don't want anybody to say that I left out the question at all. I had a question from DJ Silence TT who asked, how many failures did you endure when you first started DJing?
Oh God, boy.
Yeah.
Boy, I really want to get a story on Instagram, boy. I really want to get a story. I remember the first time I got a chance to play in a party here in Grenada.
Right.
I was a teenager, right? That's what, I mean, Simply Smooth, I would say, is responsible for my style, right? Puffy, you know who I'm talking about. Anyway, had a party in a place in Grenada called Cut Bomb. Now, mind you, I was a teenager still. I might have been in school still or finishing school or whatever. Right. Now, ever since, all I used to like to do was scratch. I mean, that was how I had the name Scratch Master. I learned to play music after. I learned to scratch first. Right. I learned the science of selecting after.
Right.
So I do so good in Cut Bomb and was peak time in the party, man. So they say, all right, Scratch, come and play a two-true.
Right.
You know, them time is record and turntable. Partner, I do so, and I just didn't know better. I throw on an instrumental and start to scratch the acapella for Capleton tour. Them take me off after about 3 minutes. You know? But again, you have to go through things like that. It was a learning experience, and, you know, I ain't gonna do that again.
Yeah, and that was an interesting party conversation that came out with the friends team last night with Laird, who was saying that your failures are really going to be the best teachers that you have to anything.
It will be, and as DJs, you know, don't be afraid to take a chance.
Correct.
My philosophy is this, right? If it is, I'm in a party and there's a song that I'm not sure is going to move the crowd. You know, I'm in experimental mode here. It might be a new song. It might be a classic. The key to it is make sure you play a couple songs before that you know they like.
Right.
All right? So you have them. But if you're going to experiment with a song, make sure the song after the experiment is one you know they go like.
Exactly.
So suppose you play it and nobody moves. All right, you know you have that backup there just in case. And another thing too that DJs need to understand is just because a crowd isn't jumping up and waving their hand in the air and mashing up things, that does not mean that they're not enjoying themselves.
Exactly. And that is important in terms of playing your position too. Because I think sometimes people see the crowd and they feel that they're not making the kind of impact that they want to make because people not pelting rags or getting on crazy. But I have seen some of the best DJs I know is guys who can play early, middle, or late. And it doesn't necessarily have to have all that kind of hype, but it's a solid selection of music that keeps the party going. You know?
Let me tell you something. DJs need to understand there's no shame in playing early.
Correct.
All right? There's none. You know, I don't have a problem with it. Even now, I don't have a problem with it.
And it's funny because to this day, I've still gone to events, whether it's in Vincent, Barbados, or wherever, and you play early like normal. Like normal. And
well, first thing I would say is this, right? Is the same money you're getting.
Correct.
That's number one.
Right.
And really and truly, when you playing early, for me, shows how solid a DJ is. Because you need to understand your crowd. You need to understand the psychology of your crowd. It makes no sense. I'm walking into a night spot, 10 o'clock in the night, party start 10, and 10:30 you're playing Crazy People by Problem Child. For what?
For what?
If it is, I mean, there's a lot of music out there. If it is a DJ has you to juggle early, play like if it's early. If it is he higher prime time, juggle like if it's prime time.
Yeah.
You know? And ain't nothing better than the satisfaction of building something. I never forget. I did my first Uber Soca this year. Lord, you see how this COVID-19 I'm forgetting.
I'm just gonna share, yeah.
Last year.
Right.
I did my first Uber Soca. And you know, obviously all the big name DJs and so on there, right? Respect to all of them. And I had to play by the pool. This was my first gig playing there by the pool. Right. And when I went, it had about, I would say about 80 something people around the pool, right? And mind you, it's a cruise ship, so it could hold hundreds, if not 1,000 people by the pool.
Yeah.
And I had to play for like an hour and a half, and built it. And there's just a certain pride when you build it and you take it to a level so that the next DJ could just do the same thing and take it to another level again. Because for me, it's not a competition. I'm not going there to try to, in any party, as a matter of fact, to try to run out and rinse out tunes. You know how much times, and I told Private Ryan this, you know how many times I've been in parties and see Ryan go to play, and the DJs before,
we'll try to rinse out
the last 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Try to, what I call, play everything. Now, first of all, let me tell you something. You cannot play everything. I don't care who you is. You cannot play everything. That is impossible.
Facts.
All right? And, I mean, it's happened to me already, where a DJ might be wrapping up a soca set, and then all of a sudden he play 2 hip-hop and a dance, so bam!
And you're like, what?
It's
like, bro.
Okay. You know? So, you know, nah, boy.
So more onto that, and you know, I'm very big on mentorship, because I think that music has been very good to me in my entire life, being able to do some of the things I've been able to do. And that's why when Chacha and I spoke about doing this Groove View series, we really wanted people to be able to learn from everybody that we brought on for the conversation, because I think, especially at this point in time when everybody's home, it's important that we learn something new now. And in the conversation I had with Lady Drea last week, she was talking about some of the hardships that she had from certain experienced persons, I don't want to call them elders, but certain experienced people that were in the industry at the point in time, and she's now trying to break into the industry. Funny enough, today I got a question for my Instagram, where basically the person was asking and asking, they told me not to call it the Instagram tag, because they already want to be putting it out there who it is. But the question essentially was, why is it that so many experienced DJs make it harder on the younger DJs, or as we call, finder? That was the question. So the question to me was, why is it that so many DJs who are experienced, or the older DJs, as the person put it, is fight down the younger DJs? I told myself, I need to hear an opinion.
Let me put that in perspective, right? Because this is something that younger DJs express. This is also something that younger artists express.
Correct.
Right? In this business, there's a such thing as paying your dues. Like it or not, there's a such thing as paying your dues, right? And some DJs, especially the younger ones know that, and this is something I'm not saying is that DJ's situation, but I find that now that this whole DJ game is easy to access.
Through digital media. Yeah.
Music is easy to access. Remember, I come up from an era when you had to buy records, you know?
Exactly. You go into a record store.
A 12-inch used to cost like $20-something. If you go in the States, a 12-inch is like $5 US, $6 US for one song.
Yeah.
One song, you know? So it's like they have to understand it's a process, right? And if it is you're passionate about it, you will stand the course, you know? Ryan would tell you the same thing, you know, with the song he used to play with before. You know, all before Brainwash and so on. I mean, he paid his dues, right? Till now, he obviously is recognized everywhere.
Yeah.
Puffy, the same thing. Puffy paid his dues, right? A lot of dues too. And the thing about it is, everybody knows them now, but they don't see when they go through the struggles. So, for some of, I know there are instances where some of the elders, you know, they kind of make it harder. But, you know, you just have to keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to keep doing what you're doing.
I think
and don't look at it as fight down all the time, because, you know, you will have your shot. You know, you will have your shot. Look at perfect example with artists. Look at Natty and Thunder, right? I have songs for Natty and Thunder that nobody here would know. But these guys paid their dues. Same thing with Skinny Fabulous. I know Skinny from when he had a natty hair. His hair was just a little bit more than mine.
I remember telling that song that you did the remix for better than the original. What song was that again?
Which one?
That was, what was he, Mad Boy? I think it's the Beast Lego.
Oh, Beast Lego?
Yeah, the Beast Lego. Yes, yeah. Where the road mix that you did was better than the original mix, but we ain't going to
tell him that now.
Nah, I ain't going to
Next time I see him, tell him that now.
I want to get banned from the people country. I ain't going to tell him that.
You get banned for that.
Nah, but you are right, and I do think that, and this is not me putting anything down on digital DJs. I just think that for people like you and I to actually come up, going in the record store and paying money for records and coming home and total, I mean, I could show you the records I have around the house right now, and understanding the level of investment that you put in to pay the dues, now that media is so easy to access, and it seems like a DJ could come a dime a dozen. I don't think that they really appreciate the process. That's my whole issue.
Let me tell you something. If there wasn't any Serato, you wouldn't be seeing half of them now. Correct. All right? It's as simple as that.
Correct.
I mean, I ain't saying I ain't like music and that kind of thing, but, you know, it's a process to this thing, you know. Not to say that if you didn't buy records, it doesn't make you a DJ or you can't be a good DJ, but, you know, you tend to have a better appreciation for what's happening now. The fact that I could walk with a laptop, and whether I have one song or a million songs, the laptop is the same weight.
Yeah.
Right? I don't worry. You know, getting charged for extra luggage and overweight and all of that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And look, you spoke about it for DJs and entertainers. I just saw Teddyson John is on the inside.
Yeah.
And Teddyson John is a very good example. Everything too is about timing. And I always remember going to St. Lucia like the second time a couple of years ago, and Teddyson was telling me, like, you know, all I want is really just to get that hit that we'll be able to break through in certain places. But at that point, he was still established in his market, and Teddyson just wanted the music to grow in a particular way. Ali Ali comes out, and now Teddyson John is a household name, but people wouldn't really know the dues that Teddyson had paid from long before Ali Ali, and before all the other hits he has now. All the hits that he was producing before that probably wasn't getting the kind of traction that he wanted, you know? And now Teddyson's a household name. So for all the DJs that in it, I really do believe it's a matter of paying your dues. I've also been one to endorse that you have to understand where you pay your dues, but also understand your value. And sometimes in understanding your value, you have to understand that the dues come sometimes hand in hand with the value.
And the thing about it is too, you need to always be ready.
Correct.
All right? When you get the break, be ready. You can't be knocking on the door talking about fight down, and then we put you on prime time on a big stage with 10,000 people in front of you, and you know what to do. And this goes for both artists and DJs.
Yeah.
Right? There are some younger artists out there that is perfect. I had to keep going back to artists that I know. Look at Skinny, right? I knew from day one Skinny was always ready.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that he didn't have the hit yet.
Correct.
Right? But I knew he was always ready. None of what is happening now with Skinny is a surprise to me. None.
Yeah.
Right? And people in St. Vincent would attest to the same thing. This is a guy that was always ready, and it was just a matter of, you know, the opportunity to present itself and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Right? So for DJs, you know, it's the same thing. You need to be ready.
Yeah.
You know, for when you get the opportunity, and if it is you have to play early, so be it.
Yeah.
You know, another thing that I want to mention is that what separates DJs, a good one from a great one, is not being predictable. You need to understand, as a DJ, you are not a band. All right? If it is Kes going and perform in Trinidad for Carnival, chances are he's going to use the same set
for the season.
If it is he going from Grenada to Lucia to Ting, and you go to all of them fets, chances are it's the same set. They start with the same song, end with the same song, you know, and Ting in the middle.
Yeah.
A DJ is a different ball game. You know, as DJs, you need to not And you know many times I'm in a crowd and the crowd would be like, oh, he gonna play that next. Oh, he gonna play that next. You know, because some DJ, and this is where I say technology has made some of us lazy.
Yeah.
Right? You build your crate, you're custom starting off with "Oh Our Father who art in heaven" from Buju, then you go into again Dry Cry, Even Tears, then you go into oh God, Just One of Those Days, you go into that next I mean,
out in the streets they call it murder.
Oh yeah, you start off with Welcome to Jamrock. I mean, sets are too predictable.
Yeah.
You know, I notice I'm here just calling them out. Even with soca music, I hear people say you go to one soca fit in Trinidad, you go to all.
Right.
You know, I mean, there are many ways to stand out and sound different. I mean, there's so many songs out there.
Yeah, there's.
Do your homework.
Yeah.
Right? Don't just be on the now, you know. The top 40, because I'll tell you something. Nobody's going to remember you for playing the biggest new song. Nobody.
That is a good point. Because last night when I was speaking to Laird from Friends of Friends, he said that sometimes he has challenged his DJs and he had the ban list. The ban list is the songs that you will not hear any party. And he said he's gone to events, and that is why when he started to talk about the Our Father, we did that same thing last night, because Laird could tell you all the songs I will play one after the other, because
I know them.
As a seasoned fetter, he has heard the entire set, so he can literally go and play for himself now. And he said that people like Selector Carey, who would come a party and give you something totally different, and men would be like, wait, I out in ballpark, I never expected that song. And that is why I think separates the good DJs from the DJs that will always stand out, the guys that can give you songs and hits that you probably didn't even know was going to come out, but he just set it nicely for you, differently from everybody.
You need to be unpredictable.
Exactly.
You know, you need to be unpredictable and know how to take calculated risks. All right? And not play the same way, because we all know, for all the DJs out on the thing now, you know, we work with BPMs, right? And we all know that if it is around that 110 range from Fast Wine, guaranteed you go here. I won't give it to you, guaranteed you go here. I mean, just find a way to either play the song different or set it up in a different way. Yeah. You know, and that thing. Another thing that irks me too, big time, are those that play songs ridiculously fast. Right? I have seen artists backed by their DJ. I ain't gonna call the artist's name. Right?
Call him, man. Call him.
No. Come on, man. Come on, man.
All right. I just joking.
Right. Backed by their DJ, and there's a groovy soca. A song that was like 106 BPM was playing probably at 120.
Yeah.
And the artist was catching the tail to stay in time. You know, I've seen DJs play power soca, songs that are 160 BPM.
Down in 10 in the tempo. Yeah.
It's fast already.
Yeah.
Songs that are 120 160 BPM and have it racing, and it just sounds like dun, dun, dun. How the hell I go dance to that? You know? How? Another thing too. Big up Missy Chrissy.
Hey, Missy Chrissy.
When DJs cut, let me tell you something. This whole DJ thing is about balance, right? Is about balance. That's all. It is about balance and time and place, right? There comes a point in time in a dance, you might juggle some songs fast, cut and go through, right? But when your whole set is cut and go through, you're gonna be pissing off people that come to genuinely wanna dance. Correct. Another thing too is like when you go and you cut a song, the nice part in the song where everybody wants to sing,
which is most frustrating.
You know, and then you have the MCs now that believe that they are artists, right? Literally talking through the whole set.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll tell you, I mean, probably they need to hear it from the patrons, right? because, I mean, you know, when I was on Uber, there was a DJ 101 segment, right? Where, you know, they invited people from the ship, and myself and Kevin Crown conducted it. And we were talking about, you know, our experiences and how we play music, select and build crates and all that.
Right.
And when we were getting feedback from the crowd, the same things that irk me as a patron when I'm in patron mode is the same things that were irking them.
Correct.
Why does the MCs have to talk so much? Why is it that I be cutting the song short, my favorite song playing, and I want to whine and thing, and listen, I'm gonna tell you something, yeah? You could tell when somebody go in a party for themselves versus when they come with a significant other, right? I'll never forget this. When I was in St. Vincent.
Talking things.
When I was in St. Vincent, I was playing our party. About 5 rude boys coming, right? But one of them come with a woman.
Ah.
4 of them, 5 of them, one of them come with a woman, and 4 of them brethren for themselves, they come to drink, ting.
Right.
When the R&B and thing was playing, the same rude boy that come with the woman, if you see wine, dance, ting. And the other 4 just stand up in a corner.
Yeah.
You know, my philosophy, and I mean, every DJ is different, you know, but I tend to play for females first, and anything else can happen after that.
Yeah.
Because when women happy in a party,
everybody's happy, man.
The party just go better.
When women are happy in the party, everybody's happy.
Right? The party goes a lot better.
Yeah.
Right? And, you know, so that's why, you know, with regards to dancehall, you have different strains of dancehall. You had the Batman tune, you had the girl tune, you had the conscious tunes like your coffee and thing. So you had to strike a balance with it. You can't happy wife, happy life, yes. you can't be, you know, just leaning one way.
Yeah.
And another thing too, for the younger DJs, you know, you need to watch your crowd. You know, you need to especially if you're in a country that you've never been in before. Something I do, like if I'm going to somewhere that I've never played for or a party I've never done, I will tend to see if they have any recap videos. I'll scour their Instagram page, look at who been in the party, older people, younger people kind of thing. One of the biggest things to know with how to adjust your set, when they do their recap videos, they tend to use a very popular song.
Correct.
Right? I pay attention to that song. When they do the recap videos, I tend to look at what they were moving to. Like if it is they take out, single out moments in a party that were hype, I'll pay attention and be like, because as a DJ, you will know. I mean, well, you're supposed to. I mean, with time it happens. You will know if it is Southern Hospitality, catch a forward in a party. Jay-Z, Give It To Me will catch a forward in a party.
Correct.
Busta Rhymes, Pastor Cavossier will catch a forward.
Because
it's the same way with Conscious.
Because of the timing.
And the segment.
Yeah.
Right? If it is Roddy Rich plays, right? Guaranteed Drake will get response. Because they go hand in hand. You know? So, you know, DJs need to understand that and work with time.
Yeah.
One of the worst things, you know, you go in a party that is probably open format and you're stuck on one genre long because you like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and then you have some DJs that when they DJ and they're like this.
And at no point in time have they looked.
At no point in time they're looking up to see what people are doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? So, you know, you have to do your homework. You have to. I ain't saying that you'll get right all the time. Because, and another thing you need to accept too, there will be good nights and there will be bad nights.
Off nights.
You will meet some crowds that stiff like board.
Yeah.
Nothing you do will get them to move. You just take it as it is.
Yeah. And ironically, sometimes in those audiences, you'll be totally amazed at the people that heard you and still was like, yo, that DJ was real good. Nobody was moving, you know. But because you played your role, you played your position, and you understood what you came to do, they still appreciated that because you understood the science of what you was doing at the point in time. Because I've gone to places, as you rightly say, when nobody is moving, But at the end of the day, it's like, yo, that first DJ. And they'll say that first DJ who played was real good, boy. Seriously.
Let me tell you a trick, right? If it is you're playing for a crowd, say you're playing early, and the party now building, and people, I mean, when you go in a party, you ain't gonna jump up as soon as you walk in the door.
Right.
First thing you might do, you might see some of your friends, you chat with them, you go to the bar, you get a drink. But the point I'm making is this: what I do, if it is I have a difficult crowd, is always have at least 1 or 2 people that move into what you're playing.
Yeah.
Right? I would focus on them, especially if they're female. I would focus on them, right? And keep them happy.
Yeah.
And eventually, their energy would spread.
That is the truth. Instead
of getting intimidated by the others that aren't necessarily moving.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
And that also shows up playing with a particular level of confidence, which I think is something that a lot of people have to do. And as you rightly said,
confidence comes with time. Confidence comes with time.
It comes with time. It comes with time, and it comes with understanding moment. I want to get into a technical question first before we go into the shellings mix. Selector Silver or Silver D Selector asked, how do you keep up with music and your thoughts on the Rain 72 over the S9? And to be honest, that's the most technical question I've gotten, so I take it because he actually asked an equipment question, which we never get. So really and truly, what is your thoughts on the Rain 72 over the S9?
I own a Rain 72. I sold my S9.
You sold your S9?
Yeah.
All right, so what is your reasoning for that?
No, this is a preference thing. First things first. Big up to Pioneer for coming out with the S9 mixer. It changed the game.
Yes, it did.
All right? It changed the game. Having those 8 pads on the top there, they
and the size of the pads as well too, because remember before with the 62, it was small buttons that weren't really considered pads.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? But I'll tell you this much, right? And I'll give him a reasoning. First things first. The technology in the current S9 mixer, the up and down fader is a cheaper fader than the cross fader.
Okay.
Right? The technology that they use for the up and down fader in the S9 is not the same technology for the cross fader.
Right.
Right? It isn't. I think they have a mag fader for the cross fader, which is a stronger fader. The up and down is not the same.
Right.
All right. So depending on how heavy your hands are, also, not that I had any problems.
Quest will break his fader.
Oh Lord, boy, them. As that ask Chris if you have any woman enough, them hand heavy.
You ever see Quest mixer? Quest all crossfader right here. It's just like he rip out that with his
no, that was another problem I had with it, and this is probably no fault of Quest here, but
yeah,
when you get the S9, the finish that they have,
yeah, the face
it fades away very fast.
It does.
So
it does.
I have always been a Rain guy, right? The output of the Rain mixer, for me, I prefer. It has a little bit more low end going on, right? And with the Rain 72, the up and down fader is the same as the cross fader.
They did say that in the product review that I viewed a couple of years ago.
It is. If it is I want, I could switch around my faders. I could take the, like, suppose my cross fader were to go, right? I could take that out and use the up and down.
Yeah.
And put it, you can't do that with the Pioneer. Yeah. Right? And I prefer the curve of for scratching. I just prefer scratching on a Rain mixer over Pioneer. But it's a preference thing.
And in terms of keeping up with music, like what do you do, or what is your strategy in terms of keeping up with music? Or is it as easy because you are part of a radio frequency? Or you're part of the programming of frequencies, if you want to put it like that?
It doesn't make it easier. It actually makes it a little more challenging because you're in a time now where music is coming out literally every day. Right? Dozens, hundreds of songs coming out every day. But I have certain charts as a radio programmer that I go to that makes my job easier, right? To know what is on rotation. And this is more for the hip-hop and R&B side of things, right? When it's time for the dancehall side of things, I have a brethren of mine in St. Vincent. His name is Chemical X. I also have my brethren of mine.
Yeah, big up Chemical X. Yeah.
I had a big up Fearless Kevon as well. And he works at the station here with me. their ears are very keen to keep with dancehall now, because we all know dancehall now is different from dancehall before.
Quite.
Right?
Quite.
And the thing with me is this, right? And some people probably wouldn't believe it. A lot of what I play, I would not listen to personally. If it is I had to do a recording for my vehicle when I'm driving, half of the new stuff I wouldn't.
Right.
You know? But it doesn't mean that I don't know how to play it.
Right.
For me, one of the keys to being a good DJ is understanding that every song has an emotional connection.
And yeah.
You have songs that'll make you jump, songs that gonna make you wave, songs that gonna make you cry, songs that gonna make you think, songs that gonna make a woman whine. Every song has an emotional element to it, right? So, perfect example with trap. Say We Them Boys is playing, right? There's a reason when you play We Them Boys from Wiz Khalifa, you could come in with New Bugatti and people respond the same way, because emotionally both songs pull you in that aggressive kind of want to get on manner.
Yeah.
So you ain't gonna mix We Them Boys with R. Kelly Bump and Grind because it's the same BPM. That makes zero sense.
You'd be surprised, eh?
Well, oh God. I know.
That's it.
I know it happens, right? But
it happens.
There's an emotional connection for every song, right? Every song has an emotional connection. And once you could tap into that, right, you will know and understand that what emotion the party needs at that point in time, you'll be successful with it. Yeah, and not just be all over the place.
And that is actually a good segue into the Shellings mix. Now, we on Shellings mix 139, right?
139.
I had a conversation with Captain John last week. I gave Captain John talk. I say you need to release another version of the Charger. I've been having this conversation with Kerry, why I don't do mixes. Kerry find creatively it's very challenging too. And just to share the experience, a couple of months ago, I personally messaged Scratch, and I was actually going through that creative stumbling block, if you want to call it that, because obviously I try to put out mixtapes as often as I can, but I do admit that it is a challenge. It really is a challenge to put yourself in that mind frame every week or ever so often to be able to put out a mix. And then because as creatives, we are our own biggest critics, we want to make sure that what we put out there is of good quality and it represents us to the best way of our talent now. You don't want to put out something that people go and listen to and say, yeah, that was real crap, I'm not downloading anything that he has again. So my first question is, how challenging has it been for you to do the Shellings mix almost every week for as long as you've been doing it? But before that, do you remember the first Shellings mix? What year was the first Shellings mix?
I would say I started doing the Shellings mix consistently when I moved to Grenada.
When you moved
because that was when I got my turntables, I bought the mixer and everything, and I started. So that would have been 2015, 2016.
So then how hard is it, if it's hard, creatively for you to have that kind of energy every week? To put
well, first of all, I don't do it every week. I try to do it every week.
Right.
And it is, let me tell you the challenging thing. Every time I do a Shellings mix, I look at it as reinventing myself.
Okay.
All right? That's how I look at it, as reinventing myself, because you have so many people listening to it, and I mean, I look at my stats from time to time. Right now, I'm just over close to 8 million plays, right?
Damn.
Since I've started it.
Up.
And the thing is, the challenge for me is really putting myself in the frame of mind to do it. Now, when I do the Shellings mix, right, I don't plan the Shellings mix song for song.
I remember you telling me that.
I don't sit down and build a crate, because I say a DJ is not a band. And for me, great DJing comes when stuff flows organically.
I remember you telling me that you have an idea of the song that you're going to start with, and then you organically build the mix from there instead of building a crazy mix. Yeah.
So like for me with the Shellings mix, you know, I put pressure on myself to balance the old with the new, right? Because there are people that enjoy some of the older stuff. There are people that like the new stuff. But for me, when I do the Shellings mix, I always try to have an idea as to what road I want to go down, right? Now, when I did the one today, I knew I was going to start with that remix. Those first two remixes, I knew I was going to start with that. I didn't know the other songs in it. But that comes with experience. That comes with time, right? You know, being able to put yourself in that frame of mind and understand you have 60 minutes and you're working with time, because you notice with the Shellings mix, I changed genres and you don't even realize I changed the genres. Yeah. Right? But, you know, again, is working with time. You ain't gonna find a Shellings mix and I have a half an hour of any genre going on.
Correct.
Unless it's a dedicated mix for that. Like I did a 90s hip-hop mix, 90s to 2005.
That was about a month ago, right?
2 hours and 10 minutes or somewhere there, right? That's different. That's a dedicated mix for a genre and an era. But, you know, for me, it's just a case of knowing at least 1 or 2 songs that I want to play in it that I've never played in the mix, or, you know, probably just to make me sound a little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah,
because trust me, it is a drain, you know. Let me tell you something. When you get up to do a mix, right, and all DJs know this, it let me tell you, it is mentally.
It is.
It drains you mentally.
It is. Like,
people don't understand. People see me and be like, "Boy, we're 139, we're 140."
Yeah.
You know, but you know, and the thing about it, I don't want to put out nonsense.
Yeah, because look, somebody just said it in the comments. Wait, there's a Shellings mix now. I go on. Yeah, there's a 139. And it's so funny because today, while I'm prepping myself for the conversation, I wanted to say in the introduction, yeah, we're on 138 Shellings mix, and then I look on Instagram, 139. I was like, what the hell is this? Like
139.
139. That's 100. And I like to put things in perspective. Because I told Puffy he was the guy who had a global vision for every idea that he had. This is 139 times outside of DJing and parties and everything else that you do, that you put yourself in a mode of creating something for people to enjoy. So they have 139 memories now. And that is really the reality of it. Because there are people I know who will be like, boy, that Shellings mix from 120 something. And that is when I think you really know that you make your name with something, you know. Because I think you're told that there are people that you know listen to the Shellings mix now all over the world, in parts of the world that you probably would have not known the Shellings mix was playing. And I think that's the validation of what you're doing.
Yeah, podcasting is important.
Yeah.
And consistent podcasting is important, right? Many times, you know, gyms listen to it.
Yep.
People in the vehicle, people in the States that have long drives.
Yep.
You know, podcasting is important.
Yep. And I mean, look, just to use the example, as I was talking with Private Ryan the other day, when he was in college, he decided to do a mix called Soca Brainwash, just because he wanted to introduce soca to people that didn't know it. Now Soca Brainwash is a global brand. It is a global brand, and he's been able to now take Soca Brainwash from just being the mix that you download to go in the gym to now have an event and successful events internationally with it. So I do agree that it is a grind in terms of putting yourself mentally and creatively into doing it. But I've understood the importance of podcasting. There are people that have told me that they've listened. I'd be surprised when some people come and say, yo, I listen to your duty-free mix, or I listen to whatever. And that, for me, it helps me to motivate me to do another one. And there are things that I want to get better in. And that is why when I was going through that grind, I messaged you, because I thinking to myself, and at that time you was at what? Shellings mix 125. So now we are Shellings mix 139, you understand? And then that, I think DJs really don't understand the importance of podcasting, because it improves you as a DJ.
Podcasting is very important. Let me tell you something. You put in the work, you put out a mix.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do anything after that.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything after that. They play it in a gym. Several people in the gym. A promoter might be in the gym.
Yeah.
Right? I've gotten bookings because of that mix.
Yeah.
Right? The same with Ryan. Ryan got, I mean, we all know his story with the mixes, you know, that he puts out. Yeah. And, you know, people hear it and they associate with it and they say, yo, I want this guy on my event. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. So I just have a question from Barry Matic, who wanted to know, what is your thought process 5 minutes? I'm going to get the correct question. Yeah, Barry Matic wants to know, what is your thought process 5 minutes before a performance set?
5 minutes before? Well, anytime I try to reach a venue, especially if it's an event that I haven't done, right? Or a place I haven't been, I like to walk around and see who is there. So it begins with that. It begins with walking around and seeing who's there, paying attention. And also, if the crowd isn't jumping up and getting on crazy, looking at, say, like the mouth of, like, to see if they sing. You know, sometimes you mightn't be dancing, but you might be mumbling the chorus or something to see if, you know, they like that kind of thing. They probably have enough alcohol in the system to get loose yet. Right. You know? So I pay attention to body language. Body language is important. Many times people has asked me, Scratch, so what are you going to start with? And I just say, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
I doesn't know what I'm going to start with until the DJ plays the last song.
Yeah. That's fine.
You know? Until he plays, you know, somebody asking what about tips for DJs who haven't found their comfort on the mic. All right. Let me say something about mic men now. All right.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
And I have to put it with, you know, I mean, miking is an art, right? Miking is an art that some are better at than others. Yeah. You know? But first things first, a DJ and an MC are two completely different things.
Correct.
There are some that could do both.
Correct.
Right? There are some that could do both, which is a plus, right? But don't feel pressure to think that you have to be on a microphone. You know, it's a true testament of a DJ for me. You have a crowd, you move the microphone, and that DJ rocking that party still. Yeah. Without having to say a word.
Yeah.
Right? That, for me, and because, listen, when people go out, you need to understand, when you go out to a party, you go to hear music. Yeah. That's the first thing you do. Apart from socializing, meeting new people, and so on and so forth. When you go out, you go to hear music. You know, you go out to have a good time. You go out to dance. I can't dance to you talking on a mic. You know? And the thing about it is, talking on the mic, you know, is like if it is you buy, I know KFC closed down in Trinidad and all, they're balling. But
come now, man, oh gosh.
But it's like you buy
it's too gosh, come on.
It's like, no, listen. It's like you buy a 2-piece, right? And you like ketchup. Just because you like ketchup don't mean you're going to throw the whole bottle on it.
Too early.
You understand what I mean?
Too early. Too soon.
No, I mean, the real fight over that KFC closing. Yeah. That way you know that thing serious in Trinidad.
Yeah. Too soon, bro.
KFC, boy, I never hear KFC close in my life. You know? But that is important, you know? Miking is, don't get me wrong, a good MC, and there are few in my book that are great at it, that understand when to go in heavy and when to hold back. Right. Because as I tell you, this whole thing is balance.
Balance.
You can't go and be talking. It have times in the dance when that will work. Right? Yeah. It have times when that will work. You know, for instance, earlier. And then too, when you use the mic, you have to know how to communicate with people. Yeah. You have to know who you're speaking to. You have to know who's in front of you. The dialect you might use in a Zesta dance ain't gonna be the dialect you're gonna use in a wedding. And
you know, it's so funny you raise that point, because a couple of weeks ago, somebody was asking me who was the person that I really looked at when it came down to that kind of performance in terms of going on stage and doing that. And I told them it really wasn't any DJ. It was actually Marshall Montano. because I would go to, like the last time I went to Marshall Monday, the way how he speaks to the crowd and he interacts with the crowd, everything is functional. Nothing is wasted energy. A lot of times with Mike Men, they'll be like, yo, and whatever, and is a lot of wasted energy that's not speaking to anybody in particular. And the real test our DJ and announcer is somebody who you know when you leave the event, people remember how you made them feel, they remember what it is you said, you remember how you said it, the intonation of what you said, and how you brought it across. Because as DJs, we are storytellers, and you want to tell a proper story, you know? And for me, it doesn't make sense being an announcer and you're not even telling a story yourself.
Somebody asking me if it is a make a mistake on a mixtape, if it is I edit or start over. There have been 1 or 2 times with Shellings Mix where I have made mistakes and I would rectify it. But for the most part, I leave it. We're all human, you know. I ain't born perfect.
Yeah.
You know.
So I just saw a question coming again here. Let me just see if I can get it properly here. Where was it?
Gotta big up to Hype Man Patrick too. He's another great MC in my book.
Pretty good. Right.
Understands.
So, Puffy credits you as being one of his mentors. How come Scratch Master has never did a freestyle competition?
All right. That's why Puffy was there. He win it, right? Now, I'll tell you why. Freestyle requires a lot of preparation, a lot of dedication, a lot of time that I don't have, right? I had... If freestyle was out when I was in my 20s, probably.
Right.
But the thing about it is, I have been judging DJ competitions a while now. I mean, for Heineken, when they had Green Synergy.
And
right.
I'm surprisingly have a question about that as well too, you know.
Yeah, I was one of the judges. Myself, Just Jace, Malcolm X. We've been to Jamaica, St. Martin, I forgot the next place, Curacao, to judge the final. Right. You know, so, you know, for me, it's not that I can't do it, but trust me, that is a different mindset altogether. And for that, you had to be doing that alone.
Yeah,
and for all the other responsibilities I have, I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah,
I would not be able to.
It is. I had that conversation with Just Jay, who told me that he had to stop doing parties even just for a particular point in time. And he had to lock himself in his house to mentally prepare to do the freestyle competition, because he says that it's a particular level of perfection that he's trying to get that is draining, and he has to be in the creative zone to do it, and not everybody understands that, you know. I think it just goes to speak to how they design the competition, and people needing to understand the difference. And Puffy spoke about that, which we will post up on YouTube and on the Groove Theory page, in terms of the difference between freestyle and partying. That is something that we're going to post up very soon, so I'll have that available for everybody.
I mean, perfect example with Puffy. When Puffy was in the final, when he got picked as the wild card, one of the first things I told Puffy, I said, listen to me, let me tell you something, man. You and I both know you cannot scratch better than those guys there. Don't even try to. All right? However, what I understood though, freestyle is not DMC. For those who know what I'm talking about. Yeah. DMC is skills, scratch, tricks, you're on your back walk. That is DMC. Yeah. The way I saw it, freestyle was more some of that, but entertaining. So I told him straight, I said, listen, the one thing you have over all these guys is your personality. Yeah. On the microphone. And as an entertainer. Use that to your advantage. Don't worry about the scratching and crab and all them tricks there. Because everybody, after a while, sounds monotonous and you're not going to stand out. Yeah. Right? So he did what would make him stand out. You know? And what was interesting too with him and freestyle, when he made it to the final, you know, they had different rounds, right? So he had 2 sets. he had a set that was his best set for like the final. But then when he realized in the semis who he was going up against, he ended up using that first, because he said to himself, boy, the competition I have in this group, let me use that last set, because that set's stronger. It will put me in a better position to make it to the final.
Yeah.
So he did that and had to create a different set now for the final.
Right.
So when he did the set for the final, he sent it to me. He recorded it and he sent it to me to listen to. And when I was listening to it, I told him, and mind you, this is the night before the competition. I said, Puffy, it was a 10-minute routine. I say, the first 8 minutes good, but the last 2 minutes you're taking a little bit of a nosedive.
Right.
So he was like, oh God. Now he had sent me mixes he did before. So I remembered one thing he did in the mix, in one of the previous mixes, and I made a suggestion. I said, all right, here's what you could do. When you reach that part in the mix, forget the rest there. Come in with the Amy Winehouse, into the Dawn Pen, no, and continue from there.
Right.
Into the sling thing and all of that to end.
Right.
He didn't have to make the change, but he did it. And I was watching, and when he reached that part, I saw, now as judges, you have to try to
remain neutral.
Your emotions.
Yeah.
But when that Amy Winehouse into the Dawn Pen, you try the Rehab song into no. I saw Jeff just do like,
yeah.
You know, and you know, he ended up winning the competition.
Yeah.
You know,
storytelling, boy, storytelling. That is what it boils down to, storytelling.
What other questions you have there?
All right, I have one on production. So I want to get to that quickly because we don't want to spend the whole night here. And I know you have other people to curtail in FIFA with. So do you think that being a producer right now is essential to being a DJ? Or can one just focus on the craft of being a DJ to make a career?
Well,
because I mean, I will preamble that by saying that before I even knew Scratch Master was a DJ, I just knew about the remixes. So I can take as far back as the same one with Skinny Fabulous, Lego, a couple from St. Lucian remixes that I was doing all that time. And then I actually knew about Scratch Master DJ. That just goes to show you. So do you think that doing production right now is integrally important to being a better DJ or being able to be a DJ over a prolonged period of time? Can you live as just being a DJ? I don't know.
Well, the thing is, I don't consider myself a producer. I make remixes from time to time. Razor Shop, who I know inside of this here, I consider them more producers. I consider Puffy a producer because I don't make beats, right? Now, DJing is DJing, producing is producing. It could give you an edge. It doesn't mean that, how to explain this? Just because you don't know how to make a remix or produce doesn't mean you can't be a great DJ, right? But it has helped me in the sense that I've been able to make exclusive edits of songs, you know, that help make my set different.
Right.
You know, that's the edge it gives you. But at the same time, if it is him making the edits properly, it still serves no purpose playing it.
Right.
You know, but you know, it's not that it defines you or you can't be a good DJ without, you know, being somebody that edits like that.
DJ Josh 246 wants to know, how do you organize your music or creates?
First things first, when I put music in, I put it in iTunes, right? All my music goes in iTunes. I put the genre, I put the year, I make sure all the fields are filled out, right? Reason being, iTunes allows you to have a lot of control. iTunes, you could make smart crates. If it is, I want to have all Bounty Killer songs, I could create a smart crate where I say the artist is Bounty Killer. If I want Bounty Killer from 95 to 2000, iTunes allows me to do that. I know Serato allows you to do it too, but something about the Serato algorithm isn't 100%.
But even with that, is it? Well, I know that Apple made an update, which was supposed to essentially kind of do away with iTunes. Has that?
That's why I'm not using Catalina. I am not.
So that then brings me to the point then of how close is using Serato in terms of the creation in Serato close to iTunes, because I created all my crates and I continue to create all my crates. Part of the reason for that is because it challenges me to kind of fiddle up in my music, to do the research on my own and kind of take out what I don't want and put in what I want. But I understand the reason for using iTunes.
All right. Well, let me finish this. iTunes is for categorizing the music.
Right.
Serato is for building the crates how I want it.
Right.
All right. So when I'm building crates, I tend to have it in era, right? And era as in, the time span, and genre. Right. So I'm not going to mix dancehall and hip hop in a crate, right? So, and then I have it in like couple ways. So for instance, now I play on a radio station as well. So say for instance, hip hop, right? I will have my hip hop 1990 to 1995. Then I'll have 96 to 99, right? Like that 5-year span for all the songs that I think I would play, whether I'm on radio or I am in a party. Then I go a step further and I created what I call prime time crates, which is promoter probably pick me up late, drop me in the party. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I could go inside it.
Right.
It allows me to prepare that way. Another thing that I've done too is sometimes, if it is I'm going to play for a significant event, a big event, that I need to leave an impression or whatever, I will single out some songs that I don't want to forget.
Right.
And put it in a crate. Because sometimes the adrenaline, heat of the moment, you could forget music, you could forget songs. Yeah. Right? So if it is I have a few songs that I don't want to forget at all, I'll think it. If it is I had to play for a rave party or something where it have a lot of trap, like perfect example, Puffy had his party in Barbados called Hyped.
Hyped, yeah.
Crop over time, bare young people.
Right.
Teens to early 20s. You know what they like already. They like a lot of the new stuff.
Yeah.
So a couple hours before that, I went through with a fine teeth comb, and selected all the hip hop songs that I figure were bangers, the newer ones, and had that in a crate. So when we reached there and he was talking and I was playing, I was just able to fire. Yeah. Right. So that's what.
All right. So I want to take 3 more, because we try to wrap up by 10, but we're over 10 o'clock right now. So we'll say this is overtime with Scratch Master. And I like this question because it's something I discussed with Private Ryan as well, from DJ Nigel. What do you think is a good retirement plan for a DJ? Which is such an interesting question to ask guys who are still active DJs. But I mean, at the same point in time, I think it's an important question, because especially now, during this point in time when the world is in a global pandemic and travel has come to a stop, touring has come to a stop, events have come to a stop, I think this is the perfect time for individuals to understand taking this from a hustle to a proper business, but also understand that with a proper business, you have to have an end game, and knowing where the end game is, you'll be able to plan from now till at least that point in time. So really and truly, it is a good question to ask, what do you think is really the perfect retirement plan for a DJ?
What I could say to that question is, I could talk for me, everybody is different. Everybody's passion is different. I mix and I master songs. That falls under music. Not every DJ is going to be passionate enough to go and listen and understand frequencies and all of that. It really depends on the individual. Now, I used to work in the bank. I worked in the bank for 4.5 years before I decided I was doing music full-time. And when I decided I was doing music full-time, I made a promise that I would try to understand as many facets of music as possible. because I genuinely liked it, you know. So it was a case whereby, yes, I was a DJ, yes, I was on radio, but then when I moved to St. Vincent, I realized that I had a passion for how things sounded. So I used to voice commercials and so on, I still do, and edit, you know, commercials and all that. But then I became fascinated with how that sounded. And then I met up with Skinny and Kubiyashi and those guys in Vinci. And then is when I started to dabble in mixing and mastering. So that's another revenue stream there already. So, all right, yes, we're in a pandemic with DJs not being able to travel and so on. But then you have DJs now that are also promoters, where, like my brethren Jaime from Antigua, he's a DJ, but he throws his events. Private Ryan, he's a DJ, but he throws his events. You know, so it is really on the individual to, and you have to want it for yourself. Nobody could want it for you. To want to expand their brand to more than playing music. Because face it, I ain't gonna be doing this forever.
Yeah.
No DJ is going to be doing it forever. But it doesn't mean that you can't be in entertainment. It doesn't mean that you can't, you know, have an event. And perfect example, look at Chinese Laundry. I'll never forget when Signal and Laundry had a commercial on the radio saying that that was going to be their last party.
Right.
Right? But he's still in the business of music.
Yeah.
He has his radio station. He did events as a promoter. So, you know, you just have to look at the other things that are music related.
And not just music related, but music related that creates revenue streams, which is something that Private Ryan was talking about. Because for him, doing the mixes was one part of it, being a touring DJ was one part of it. But then when he started to get into events production, and as you say, knowing what you want out of something differently from something else, he has now seen where this is now turned into an entire animal of itself. And he even said to me when we had the conversation that he of himself he doesn't see himself doing this for a prolonged period of time as well, but he knows that what he's going to be doing will always be involved in music and entertainment. And that is because he's now setting up a way to have multiple revenue streams from what he's doing. And like I am one of those individuals that still work and I work and do this at the same point in time. But I've also been able to develop different revenue streams out of entertainment as well too. And within entertainment that has nothing to do with going and playing in a party. And I think a lot of young DJs don't understand that the long-term goal needs to set up. You need to be able to set up those revenue streams so that when you're not the hottest DJ again, or when things like what is happening now has happened, or when it is that there is some downtime, you actually have a financial particular level of stability that you can survive this and come out on top.
Well, I'll tell you, in defense of the younger DJs, when I was in my 20s doing it, I wasn't thinking about any of that. I just knew I liked music. And I wanted to know as much as possible. Right. I had a hunger for that. So that's why I say it's really individual based. You know, having that hunger to want to be better, to want to perfect your craft, right? And want to perfect your craft at a young age too. Because good habits repeat itself the same way bad habits repeat themselves.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, and you could tell. That's why you ever look at some people and it's like you're not surprised they reach where they reach because their work ethic has always been like that from ever since.
Yeah.
You know, didn't just wake up one day and okay, I'm you know, it and it applies to all facets of their life. So
I just saw somebody ask a question and he said he really wanted to. So I'm going to ask the question. He says do you DJ for money or because you love it? And he really, really wants to know. I selected J-Boy Music. So he really wants to know if it is that you DJ for money or just because you love it.
Well, that is a tricky question. I would say the answer to that is both.
Right.
Right? I do love DJing. There's no doubt about it. Money is not the only motivating factor.
Right.
Right? However, at the same time, you have to know your worth and not let any promoter or entity, you know, shortchange you, right? You know, I always say, you know, it's like look at certain brands, right? DJs are all brands, right?
Yeah.
A Private Ryan is a brand. A Puffy is a brand,
Yeah.
right? And they do things to have themselves at that level.
Yeah.
For a reason. Hence why their price is what it is, for a reason, right? You don't get paid for your time. You get paid based on what you're worth.
Yeah.
Right? There's a reason why these guys like Calvin Harris and them worth millions of dollars, and they ain't doing nothing different from what we doing. Right? But again, it's where you position yourself. And, you know, you have to learn in this game, don't be afraid to say no. Right?
Sure.
Otherwise, you know, some promoters look for the cheap way out, and I'm not knocking promoters here, but it's just how the game is. They always want a deal, some of them, right? And you have to be wary of that. Now, for upcoming ones, you might take anything you get, you know, because everybody's financial situation is different. You don't know what people are going through, right? But at the same time, you have to know what you're worth. You have to know what you're bringing to the table. Sometimes you bring in the whole friggin' table.
Yeah, for real.
Right? You have to know what you're worth. And there's a reason a Mercedes-Benz and a Ferrari and a BMW costs what it costs over the cheaper brands of vehicles. You know?
I like how I put that politically correct. The cheaper brands of vehicles.
The cheaper brands of vehicles. You know? Like, I was reading something where they said that Gucci and Louis Vuitton, they don't drop their price to get more customers.
Right.
They know that they are of a certain stature and a certain price point. So those who could afford it will go for it. It would not be everybody.
Yeah.
Right? You know, somebody say Puffy and Scratch build the table.
Oh, gosh.
But they're good.
Yeah.
But they're real good. You know, so, but DJs need to understand their work, because right now we're in a time where so many young DJs and even some of the older ones in the game, they want to be on every card. They want to be on every event, right? I'll tell you something. That may be cool, but you're slowly but surely gonna water down your brand that way.
Yeah.
Right?
You don't have to be
being on 20 events. Look, for instance, if it is, you see, I can't call names, but anyway, I really can't call names. But
I realize you're trying.
I'm not gonna call names because some of these guys are my very good friends.
Yeah, I know.
But there's a reason why, for instance, Puffy might go to, say, Jamaica, right, and do 2-3 events.
Right.
And he's good. And you have other guys that will go to the same Jamaica and have to do about 10 to 12 events.
Yeah.
To get paid what he got for 3 events.
3 events, correct.
To put it in perspective.
Correct.
You know? I mean, everybody is different. Again, you know, everybody's situation is different. But all I'm saying is, in a carnival setting, when you are on so many events, you have to, you're making it, you're running, you're stretching yourself thin.
I smile at this because I had this conversation with DJ Adam when we were doing Carnival here, and we set out to do particular events, and our mindset was, we don't have to do everything now, because you want to make sure the events that you do, they leave an impression. And we realized that there were some who were putting out schedules of events, like you know, the whole season they book up every night. Some of those events they probably wouldn't get paid for. Some they wouldn't show up for. Some got cancelled. Some events were spurious, but they just wanted to make it look like we are in everything, you know? And
I mean, you see Major Lazer and everything?
No.
You know, I mean, again, you know, and the thing about it is, the same people go to the same parties, huh?
Correct. Correct.
When it's a carnival weekend, the same people go to the same parties. You know, I just believe that there will come a point in time where you need to get selective if it is you want to have longevity.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't want to be in a situation where people are like, oh God, he again.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, being exclusive is always a good thing.
It is.
You know, there's a certain thing with being exclusive. It's like having that one remix that everybody wish they had.
Yeah.
You know, nothing wrong with that. Right? And again, work on your brand because it comes with hard work. You can't come and say you're charging big money and you're not doing things to justify it, right? You know, you have to put in the work. Yeah. So, yeah.
All right, well, I got 2 more questions to get to before we let you go because, as I said, this is overtime right now. So, I mean,
no problem. Bring them.
This come like the extra time in football. I saw somebody ask, what record pools do you post your remixes, Scratch, or is it email subscription lists? So, I guess the guy wants to get your remixes. Hey, God, bro. The man here remix on a shellings mix. The man want to get from a record pool. You can't mix with the man.
Would you lend somebody a toothbrush, partner?
Well, all I'm saying, brother, is that when you put out something for the public consumption, it is not surprising that a DJ is going to want to get it too, as I just said, you know?
All right, let me put it this way. There are some remixes that I do that are out there.
Right.
And then there are others that I have for myself.
Which is expected.
You know, big up to Samantha, big up Kwesi Lockton, right? My thing with remixes is this, right? Understand this, DJs. A remix is something that allows one DJ to sound different from another, right? One of the most disrespectful things I find with DJs that have, you know, your remixes is that if they're playing before you in a party,
they go and play a remix.
They go and play it before you.
And then they'll turn around, watch and smile like, yeah.
Yeah. You know, so my whole thing with remixes is this, right? Some of them I give out, but the vast majority I don't. And the reason for it is so that it allows me to sound different.
Yeah.
Right? Perfect example, there was a remix that I did that wasn't meant to get out, but every Tom, Dick, and Harry have it, which is Marshall, Skinny, Bungie, Family.
Right.
On the Jumbo Jet.
On the Jumbo Jet rhythm, yeah.
With straight off the Jumbo Jet.
Yeah.
I did that.
Right.
When I did that, and I played for Skinny Ball. Right? But again, I knew what it would do. And I know that, you know, if it is I'm on a card, that is something that would help me to sound different. Yeah. Especially if the rhythm played already. Right? But no, everybody have it. And it's a case now that I've had DJs play it before me. And I'm on the same card. Yeah. You know? So remixes is a tricky thing. I had to big up Rhythm Master because he's a very talented youth that I get a lot of my stuff from. Yeah, and
I've been telling people in Trinidad about Rhythm Master since going to Antigua last year and hearing some of his work. He really is very talented. He's extremely talented. So big up Rhythm Master, man. Big up Rhythm Master.
He's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's the Antiguan razor shop.
Well,
get in there. Get in there. I mean, we all know razor shop is normal. He born hospital. He's sick.
Right. So last 2 questions. Which DJs let me see this question quickly. Which DJ is favorite or you look up to learn? Are there any? All right. So I'm gonna rephrase the question because the person typed it like this. Are there any DJs that you look to learn a new skill?
It depends on the skill. If it's scratching, 2 DJs that I admire for scratching, my top 2 DJs for scratching are Jazzy Jeff, because he just has a simple way that makes you think that you could do it too, right? And he's a legend in the business.
Yeah.
And Scratch Bastard.
Yeah.
Scratch Bastard is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Those are my two for, you know, that. With regards to like a DJ that I could listen to say if it is I were to go to a party or something like that, there's very few. I would say, well, Puffy, obviously, because it feels as if I'm hearing myself.
Yo! Oh! Yo! No, come on. My problem. Yo.
Nah, like, well, Puffy, Private Ryan. I also have a great respect for Back to Basics with how he plays soca.
Right.
Back to Basics plays soca different. Different. Here I tell you. Dr. J plays soca different. These guys are veterans that understand how to play soca and not just play the top 10 that are today.
Yeah.
You know? Another DJ that his name, I don't hear his name much, but yo. No, he's big in Toronto, I should say. Right? Jester. Jester is a juggling machine. Jester bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very, very, very bad.
Yeah.
You know, somebody type Simply Smooth. But obviously Simply Smooth, that's why I learned how to do what others do.
The man say listening to Puffy is like listening to himself, yes? Very well. That is the line in night. I ain't gonna forget that. Finally, well, I know you're a family guy. How challenging is it for you to balance all these things that you do, remixing, mastering, because mastering is a big thing for you, DJing, touring, your responsibilities with radio. How hard is it to juggle that and personal life at the same point in time?
They have their moments. I'm not busy all year round, but usually when Carnival comes around is when, you know, it's like juggling the radio station, making sure the radio station is good, you know, making sure that that you know, artists get what they have to get in a timely manner.
Yeah.
Resting my ears, you know, so that, you know, because there is a such thing as ear fatigue.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, the thing with me is I'm responsible for more than one radio station.
Yeah.
You know, I'm here in Grenada with Power 95, but I also pretty instrumental with Slam in Barbados.
Correct.
And to a lesser extent, Hot 97 in St. Vincent.
Yeah.
You know, so it, you know, it's just a matter of, you know, what needs to get the priority, you give it the priority at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because it's not like if all facets hit you at the same time for 365 days a year.
Yeah.
You know, that is not the case.
I get that. Well, yo, we have gone way past the time that we wanted to end tonight, because we usually go
Questions done.
Right? Now we have more questions. We have a lot more questions, but I got stuff to do. I sure you have stuff to do as well. Actually, there was a question I wanted to ask you, which is the final question. Has nothing to do with music. Who right now, DJ-wise, and you could call a name, is probably the worst player in FIFA on PS4? Who is the worst? Call a name.
DJ?
DJ. Because I hear you say that you're sharing licks to Puffy before you come on here. So, if it is like Puffy, you can say Puffy, you know, we can at least say...
Nah, I can't say it's Puffy. Nah, Puffy's beat me too, man. It's just that we played 3 games tonight and I beat him 2 out of the 3. You know, so I just had to remind him I'm back, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Puffy is good. I know who good. Just J is good.
I hear Just J's a beast, boy.
Yeah, but But he can't technical, you know. He look like a man that go mash up controller and thing when he
yeah.
You know, but I don't know. I don't really have that much DJ friends that play FIFA that I play FIFA with.
Right.
You know, somebody asking for my PSN. My PSN is Scratch 305.
Right. So we leaving all Scratch leaving all that. Scratch 305. So
if all they want licks,
you
Scratch 305.
Well, here what going on. You might not necessarily be able to beat Scratch at his game when it comes down to music and production, but they might have a chance in FIFA. They might have a chance. Might. And look, I put up positivity in the universe, brother. We have to do that at this point in time. But in any event, Scratch, I really want to thank you for your time tonight. This was an extremely informative conversation, not just for everybody tuning in, but for me, myself as well. Can I hear your thought process of what goes into production, what goes into shellings mix, what goes into music and radio? Is really invaluable experience that I think everybody learned tonight. And that is why we actually stayed extra time. That is why my next phone still have blinking messages on it, because a lot of people came up tonight to get
well, you might have to do a second one.
Yeah, actually, so we will do a second one. There are a couple people who I want to reach out to from beforehand, but we're definitely going to do a second one with different topics, but still get more in depth to some of the things that we didn't talk about tonight. So I really want to thank you for the time.
By the way, hold on, Rhythm Master, I ain't see that thing in my email yet.
Look. So brother, make sure I email you, man, please, quickly. All right. So Scratch, stay safe, and we will pick up on the flip side, brother. All right.
All right. Cool.
Cool.
Out.